Hello everybody, welcome back to another Snapshot video. Today we're looking at Snapshot 14 week 05A, and they haven't added a huge amount of stuff to this episode, to this snapshot, but what they have added is pretty cool. So there's a new game mode, which I'm sure many of you have heard about, called Spectator Mode, which is what I'm currently in. You can fly through things, which is very, very interesting. You can go through the floor, things like that. It's just like flying, but a little bit slower than flying. The other cool thing that they've done is that you can go over to an entity like a pig, and you can click on it, and you take on the view of the pig. So right now I'm looking at what the pig sees, and I can't move my mouse or anything like that. I can't move the pig or anything. It's just a perspective thing. I can press Shift, and it takes me out of the pig, which is kind of cool. I've noticed that if we've got any squid over here, I've noticed that if you are in a squid, from the perspective of the squid, you can move your mouse, and the sort of watery overlay thing you got going on gets moved, which is kind of interesting. Slight bug maybe, but all in all, seems like a pretty cool feature. Very useful for map makers, I'm sure, because we'll be able to, I don't know, have people spectating without having arrows go through them. You're invisible to other players. You can't have arrows shoot through you or anything like that. And it just looks pretty funny because you're just ahead. So there are a few other features, and I will go over those now. So Mojang have done a really great job with these perspective view things, and there's a couple of mobs which give you some very interesting perspectives. For instance, spiders have this beautiful graphic effect here where you get sort of a really fragmented perspective of the world around you, which just looks great, I have to say. Very nicely done, that one. It works with cave spiders as well. Very similar view type for them. Creepers get this really neat sort of night vision view thing, which is kind of neat as well, a little pixelated. Blaze don't have a special view, but I have to say, having seen from their perspective, it's even more amazing how good they are at shooting people. It's crazy. Endermen don't get angry at you in this viewpoint, which is good. And they also have an inverted view, so you can see things sort of inverted, which means that the end would actually look like cobblestone, because endstone is just inverted cobble, which is kind of interesting, I think. So I just thought that'd be worth mentioning. Another feature of the spectator view, as well as not being able to interact with mobs or anything like that, you can look in inventories and things, but you can't pick things up. You can't put things from your inventory away. You can't move things in your inventory. So it is completely locked off, which is fine. If anybody's wondering around about this rain, by the way, it's not a weather thing. It's an experiment I was doing earlier with the new particle summoning. So I thought it looked kind of cool. Spectator mode actually allows you to achieve a speed much higher than that of creative flying. You can use the scroll wheel on your mouse. So if I scroll down now, my flying speed is going to slow, and I can go down to a complete standstill if I wish. So I'm pressing forward right now, nothing is happening. I can scroll my mouse wheel up very slowly, and I will pick up speed, which is great. Like, multi-speed flying is going to be really useful. I hope they add this to creative mode. I would love that. Just to demonstrate, I'm currently in the new spectator mode, and you don't activate spawners, so you're not detected by mob spawners at all. You will also not affect mob spawning, so we're currently on hard difficulty, but no mobs are spawning because there's no players in range as far as it's concerned. So this will actually be really handy for testing mob traps. You can fly inside and see how they're operating without affecting the spawning. You'll be able to use this if you're building an adventure map to fly around without triggering anything. Yeah, plenty of uses for this, I think. On to a slightly less interesting but very potentially useful mechanic. Activator rails, such as this one over here, will now actually eject mobs if they're powered. So you can now actually hop people out of the minecart. It creates this kind of cool wobbly effect on the minecart. Had to be done, guys. Had to be done. This system will also kick players, which will make it very easy to make minecart stations that actually dismount you once you reach your destination. The F3 menu has now been changed up again a little bit, so it actually has a slight transparent backing for the text, which is going to make it a lot easier to read, and it's been tidied up a little bit as well, so there's everything's a little bit neater and easier to find. Mojang have now also added a new kind of block called the barrier block. This doesn't allow you to walk through it. You can stand on it, you can walk on it, and it looks like a sort of no-go symbol in your hand. You can give this to yourself by going /give, then your name followed by Minecraft:barrier, and it'll give you one of these fellas. They create sort of a dark shadow effect, which I think is a bug. I created a little box here to see whether encasing myself fully would actually remove the light level, but you can see my light level is still at 15 even when I'm encased in them, so it's just a visual lighting bug, I think. And as you saw just then, if you break them they give off lava particles, which probably isn't intended either. These are great because in in survival or in adventure mode you can't break them, so they make very useful barriers in adventure maps, and I can think of a lot of people who are going to be very happy about this. Interestingly, these invisible blocks don't render redstone from below. This is quite something I knew before. It looks kind of cool from above, but from below it might be a good way of hiding wiring. If I was a little lower down, I wouldn't be able to see those particles, and you could actually use it to invisibly stretch redstone wiring across a space. So like from down here you can see that the particles don't show up. So yeah, it might be handy for that. The invisible barrier block will also propagate redstone signal. Book copying has received a new overhaul as well. Previously, you could place a book inside a crafting space and add a second book to create a copy. You can still do that, however it now says copy of original. So there's your original, then there's copy of original. If you try and copy the copy, you get a copy of a copy. And if you try and copy a copy of a copy, it doesn't work. So you can now, for instance, copyright books by giving somebody a copy of a copy, like this one here, and they wouldn't be able to duplicate the book, which is handy, I suppose. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's me done for today's snapshot. Thank you very much for watching. I will continue to do videos like this, so if you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe, of course, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!